the trigger will be in May on how expectations is revolving this auction.
Sí, ese límite, ese punto, digamos, que ese hito va a ser el mes de mayo cuando con la subasta del bonos de tesoro, supongo, ¿no?
That also applies for August and October, but the main point is, if investors basically believe after this auction, if they're going well, then I don't think Spain will need a bailout. It's all about expectations for these three auctions that decides whether a bailout is necessary for Spain or not.
Que todo gira en torno a los tres hitos que son mayo, agosto, octubre, que son los vencimientos de la deuda y las subastas que van a celebrarse aquí en España. Todo tiene que ver con las expectativas por parte de los inversores y los mercados de cómo va a resolverse cada subasta en cada momento. Your concerns about other countries such as Belgium and Italy. Yeah.
Let's take the Italian case first. Around 50% of the Italian economy is unaccounted for, meaning they have a cash reserve that you don't know how it's going to act. But if you look at the sort of the 50% of the economy that is accounted for, they definitely also have challenges.
Aproximadamente un 50% de la economía italiana es un 50% que no aparece en ningún sitio, que no está contabilizado, que por lo tanto sabemos que hay reservas de capital, pero no sabemos cuánto, es decir, eso es el problema. Solo sabemos el 50% que sí que aparecen en sus balances.
For Belgium, I think there's a great likelihood that they will receive a bailout in 2011 as well.
Well, what do you think is going to happen there?
I think the scenario for Spain is going to be the same as in Portugal, in the Portuguese case. The Portuguese minister has said that above 7% is unacceptable paying for yields. And what you saw on Friday's trading is what the yields closed at 7.14, I think was the yield close. And this morning it went up, spiked up a bit, but clearly ECB intervened, and it was below when on my back where it was below 7 when I started speaking. I think if we see yields around this, just before these days or a week before these days, surging to 8% for Spanish debt, then it will be clearly unacceptable for ECB. And they'll start intervening in market in order to see whether they can force it down. If they're not able to force it down and keep it steady below 7, then Spain will receive an offer of a bailout or some kind of construction where they'll fund their short-term needs that is within the next 3 years to an interest rate around 5%, like in Greece. And that's also why I believe that Portugal will receive an offer for bailout, because despite that there's a small amount of Portuguese bonds compared to the number of bonds in Spain, it seems as if ECB has some difficulty in persuading the market that the yields in the Portuguese case should be below 7%. However, I would like to stress that if you compare the economies of Spain and Portugal, it is two different stories. I think there's a great likelihood that Portugal will end up in a bailout. I think there's a greater likelihood that Spain will not end up in a bailout, given the size of the economy, given the fact that you actually have some goods that you can sell to somebody.
En el mercado español. Como el año pasado, en 3 ocasiones, en pequeños bloques, si hay alguna duda sobre la aclaración, sobre la presentación, ya podrá aclararlo. Si hay alguna pregunta.
Good morning and welcome. I assume that Guillermo, or at least what I understood, that if you have any questions during the speech, please feel free just to ask them.